Good morning, everybody. I thought I'd introduce myself. My name's Jo Yaldren, and Karen is doing her run for the Great London Marathon, the London Marathon, as it's otherwise known, and she's doing it for me because I've been diagnosed with Parkinson's. I've had Parkinson's disease now for 3 years. I'm 50. I'll soon be 51. And it was the last thing on my list of things to have happen to me during my life. So if you're like me, even though I was a nurse, I didn't really know that much about Parkinson's disease. So I thought I might just give you a bit of an introduction. And yeah, I'm certainly not an expert on Parkinson's disease, but I'm becoming an expert on me with Parkinson's disease. And one of the things which is clear is, firstly, it's not really a disease. It's like a collection of, you can't catch it from somebody. It is a collection of symptoms. Usually there's a clinical diagnosis which is made when those symptoms cluster together. And it's generally caused by a loss of dopamine. So the dopamine making cells in my brain have disappeared. They're dying, and you tend to get symptoms when you've lost about 80% of your dopamine, and we're all losing it slowly. But and if we all lived to be about 140, we'd all have Parkinson's disease. But in some people like me, for some reason which isn't really understood, the dopamine disappears more quickly than it ought to. And so for me, my symptoms were a tremor in my left hand, fatigue, which was just off the chart, and my handwriting was getting smaller, my left side was getting stiffer. Although these things crept up, so I didn't really put all the dots. I didn't recognise them as being a thing. I thought I'd trapped a nerve, or I was trying to make all sorts of excuses as to why this was happening until I got my diagnosis from my consultant. And it's a little bit like a smorgasbord of, well, the worst buffet ever. So everybody's Parkinson's seems to be quite unique. There are a whole list of things that can happen, which range from dementia to incontinence to freezing where you can't walk, you stop, to dystonia, which is another thing which I now have, which is a cramp type spasm on my left side, which is very painful. So that's kind of where we're at a little bit, and I'm really lucky. I've got some great people around me who have helped me come to terms with what's been going on, and it's a bit scary. I've got 2 girls, and they are at the moment 22 and, gosh, terrible, isn't it, 17, soon to be 18, and I think they're probably a bit worried for me, as is my husband and my friends, and because there's no cure, which seems crazy. The treatments that I'm on are really good, but they are limited and time sensitive. My dopamine continues to descend, and the meds will prop it up. But once I sort of reach my maximum dose, at the moment there's a couple of options maybe. So deep brain stimulation, so they stick a wire in your head and try and sort of zap the bit that's causing the problems. Very technical. But there's no cure. And Karen, Kaz, KK, however you might know her, my darling roomie, is going to run the London Marathon in May. She's training as we speak, hard with her puppy, Effie, and she's a magical human. And I really hope that the work that she's doing means that somehow a researcher gets a little bit more cash to do some work, or a pharmacist gets to do something extraordinary. And my real hope is that before I completely drop to bits, somebody finds a cure. It'd be wonderful. I'm going all Miss World. I'm incredibly touched by her kindness, and for those of you who are donating, it's incredibly generous thing to do, and very, very welcome. So that's the end of my first little podcast. Karen told me I have to do one a week at least to keep us all on track. So here we are. I've chatted for longer than I thought, so apologies for taking your time up. Have a wonderful day, whatever you're up to, and be kind to each other. Bye now.